I'm Dr. Stephen Stanis, Executive Medical Director of Rehabilitation and Performance Medicine, RPM, and Medical Director of Swedish Pain Services. On behalf of Providence and Providence Swedish and our RPM team, I want to welcome you to today's special webcast celebrating the month of May and Mental Health Awareness Month. RPM is Providence Swedish's service line responsible for directing and providing state-of-the-art medical care and sports medicine management for the WNBA's Seattle Storm, the MLS's Seattle Sounders, and the Cascades and Tempests, Seattle's professional male and female ultimate frisbee teams. For many years, we've also proudly provided care for student athletes at Seattle University. As a healthcare system, these medical and sports medicine partnerships go far beyond the branding and exposure we benefit from with our brand Providence or Providence Swedish placed on jerseys or seen in stadium signage. These partnerships help Providence and Providence Swedish also to collaborate with teams and institutions, highlighting our shared mission and values with projects off the courts, playing fields, and soccer pitches. Community events have included vaccine clinics, youth sports clinics, and a number of community nonprofit collaborations. For example, last year, Swedish and the Storm supported programming for the Asian Counseling and Referral Services right here in Seattle. Other work has included elevating social justice, diversity, and equity initiatives, and finally, educational programs supporting underserved communities, as well as elevating and supporting our BIPOC and LGBTQ+ community members.
I'm Arpan Wagre, and I serve as Chief Executive for Providence's Wellbeing Trust. The Wellbeing Trust was a foundation created by Providence with a $100 million endowment to advance the mental, social, and spiritual health of the nation. After the pandemic, we are living in unprecedented times where 1 in 3 Americans have reported being diagnosed with a mental illness. We need to support the mental health and well-being of everyone. And today we are so privileged to be joined by 3 extremely talented individuals who work in very high-stress environments and still take care of their mental health and well-being. So we look forward to learning from them. Providence Swedish is entering its 8th season as the official healthcare partner for the 4-time WNBA championship team, the Seattle Storm. Together, we've been able to accomplish so much in the community, from highlighting amazing women leaders through our honorary coach program, to supporting community organizations, to bringing awareness to cancer and the Swedish Cancer Institute as a part of the Storm Out Cancer Initiative. This year, we will focus on mental health awareness and bringing resources to our communities. Joining us today from Seattle Storm is Ezzy Megbegor. Welcome, Ezzy, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now, many of you have probably noticed the new green Providence jerseys at a Seattle Sounders match. This is just a part of the new Providence and Sounders partnership. A key component of this partnership is bringing attention and support for the youth mental health crisis. We are doing this by increasing access to mental health services, creating safe spaces for kids to play, and providing in-person and virtual mental health events. Our end goal is to make mental health resources accessible to people of all ages. Joining us from Seattle Sounders Football Club is number 12, Freddie Montero. Freddie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
There's so much you do in high-pressure situations. Would love if you could walk us through a typical day in your shoes. So if I may start with Dr. Wang.
In my world, days can be a little bit different. You can have very predictable days and unpredictable days. And so I think, the predictable days are where I have scheduled surgeries and clinic and occasional admin roles, duties, meetings. But it's the unpredictable days, I think, where the stressors present themselves and are the highest. And that can be a day when I'm on call and you walk in and you just don't know what you're going to get. And so patients can range from being somewhat sick and needing emergent surgery versus very ill. And those are the ones that can bring the most stress on in the job.
Ezzy, I would love to turn to you as you walk through a day in your shoes. As I imagine, you have your plan, you go in, and things always don't turn out that way. But would love to learn, what your day looks like.
Yeah, obviously we have different days. So You know, we have typical practice days. We have game days. So I think I'll start walking guys through a game day. So we just had our first game over the weekend, and it was an earlier game. So I think preparation kind of starts the day before, you know, just getting your mind right, getting your body right for the game, and waking up, you know, fueling your body, and then just kind of being mentally locked into the game. A typical game day can be quite stressful. I know, especially, you know, first game of the season, I'm playing with a relatively new team as well. But I think, you know, this is my 4th season, so I've, you know, tried to learn how to, you know, cope with that stress and kind of just do preparation early instead of being reactive to certain situations.
Freddie, could you walk us through a typical day for you?
I've been playing professional soccer for 17 years now. And then you could see, you know, all the changes through my whole career. And now my typical day in a soccer match day, it's so different than what it used to be when I was 4 years into the professional career. And now I don't try to think about the game. It's funny, I wake up and I, you know, take my daughters to school, or, you know, wake up and have breakfast with my family. Everything but thinking about the game, because I know when that moment comes, I have to be 100% focused. But I learned through my all the years that that's what brings you stress, like thinking and, you know, are you prepared? You know, all those doubts that it's coming into your mind. That's what makes you feel anxious. And maybe sometimes if you are not 100% prepared, it can lead you to an injury. So yeah, I don't try to think about what's coming.
I'm sure our listeners would greatly benefit from really understanding a little bit about how you really address the mental and physical demands that your jobs have.
What helps me is just really, you know, leaning on my circle and those around me. So, you know, family, friends, coaches, whoever you kind of need to just pull you in line and just keep you grounded. I think that definitely helps a lot. And it's definitely taken me a while to get there. I'm someone that, you know, I didn't find it easy to kind of, you know, reach out and ask people for help. But I think just really, you know, leaning on my family, my mom, she calls me all the time, sometimes in the middle of the night because she's in Australia. I'm like, Mom, it's 3 a.m.
Are there other things you do to really help yourself when you're getting ready for one of those stressful events?
My faith, my family, and community.
Beautiful.
Right? I don't have enough tickets to give to my friends and community for the game. So family first, and then, yeah, just, you know, asking God for the protection, because a soccer game, it's, you know, anything can happen. You can win, lose, or tie the game, but you can't control that. All you can control is how you approach the game, how you prepare for that moment.
I'm a big pauser. I'll pause in a moment and just kind of take it in and say, you know, this is a great moment to remember. I do that in and out of the hospital. You know, I'll pause with my family and say, I'm going to remember this and take that moment in a mental picture. And I'll also do it at my job, and I'll pause and I'll say, that was really cool what we just did, guys, and, you know, for the team and for myself. But I think when you handle stressors, especially at work, it requires a lot of tools. And tools that you learn through, for me, it was residency, tools that I learned through a continued process. You said you were really early on in how you manage your stress, and I don't think you're ever going to be an expert at managing your stress. And so sort of recognizing that it's a continued evolution of how you manage it. I take a lot of tools from my mentors, and, you know, one of the best mentors I've had has said, you note something and then you let it go. Meaning you take what just happened, you react to it, do what you need to, and then you move on and let it go. Because if you let things build up, it will pause your day.
I would love to go around and help the audience understand why this topic matters to you personally.
I've been playing soccer. You know, I play in Canada, I play in Portugal, I play in China, I play in Colombia, where I am from. And all these countries, you have to find a way to, you know, get established, having friends, having people around you that are really positive. And not only those people that want to, you know, tell you like how good you are, no. People that are aware of, you know, your weakness, and they can help you to come out after that and be better as a person.
Ezzy, would love to hear from you. Why is this topic important for you?
I've been a professional athlete for 6-7 years now, and I think it's something that I think will help my game on the court as well. So it's something that I just really wanted to hone in on and understand, and just to be able to be a better teammate, a better athlete, and a better, I guess, friend, family member. I think it, covers a lot of things. So yeah, I think mental health is important to me because, I have, struggled with anxiety, especially growing up. So I think it's something that you kind of just want to figure out and find a solution to straight away.
For me personally, I'm a better mom, I'm a better wife, I'm a better sister, a better daughter, when all of that plays in or comes into place. And so I think it's very important, especially in where, again, post-pandemic, we just probably went through the largest overhaul we could have not asked for. And so repairing that it's really trying to find our feet again. And it's been a journey, right? I think when you go through that, it forces healing, and it's been, at least from what I can say, positive.
You think about it, we talk about physical health, we immediately start thinking about exercise, healthy diet. We talk about mental health, we immediately go to depression, anxiety, and other things. And the way all three of you described it was just so beautiful. You want to be the best version of yourselves. You care about that. You surround yourself by people who tell you both positive and negative. You want to be a better mom, and you think about the anxiety and how do you really come out of that. So thank you so much for sharing that. If you could help our listeners with giving some guidance on practical tips and suggestions for how they might be able to learn from your experiences.
Really protecting your time off is very important to me. My husband asks me every year, what do I want for my birthday? My birthday's coming up soon, and I answer the same, and we've done the same thing for 5 years, so I don't know why he keeps asking me. But I want to take a trip to Chelan, which is one of the local spots here. No electronics, we turn everything off, we hang out with the family, and it's us. And it's just the four of us. We don't have sports, not that I don't love sports, but sports can take over your life, and so everybody pauses. Everybody is with everyone, and we do that for just 4 days, and that's all I ask. And that's really it's me recuperating, it's sort of that regeneration of my energy so that I can come back and be what I need to be at work. And then when you're in the moment, again, I think it really is being confident in your ability, knowing that you've gotten to where you are for a reason. So you are capable.
I think as a female basketball player, we're playing year round. So, I was playing in Hungary before the WNBA season, and I came straight here. I had a week before training camp. So it's just, the year is pretty full on. You kind of get no breaks. So I think for me, a tip would just be to be able to pause, I guess, and just reflect on, whether it's the season you just had, whether it's an achievement you just, achieved. I think that's really important because you're on the go all the time, and, you're going to get run down, you're going to get tired. And if you don't kind of just, take a second to reflect and be like, hey, I did this, or hey, I'm living in a different country and enjoying it. I think that's really important.
I just want to say something really simple. Sleep well, exercise, and just be sure who are you. Your identity means a lot. So no other comments coming from the outside or that voice that is screaming at you from the inside won't damage you as a person.
I think we have a lot of those moments in a basketball game. You can't really dwell on the previous play or something that just happened. So you really have to just, get over it really quickly. And so I feel like we don't really have that luxury to kind of just, dwell on it. And I think, I'm lucky I play a team sport, so I can lean on 11 other people on the team to kind of just pick me up if I need it or pull me out of that kind of funk. Coaches as well. So just knowing that you're not by yourself, you have those people who believe in you, especially if you have that self-doubt in yourself.
I love that.
I have a great team, and I think at minimum it's conversation. Them being my my safe space. And I think a lot of it's energy, right? When you experience something, when you experience a stressor, there is a response. There is a visceral chemical response, which you could probably more eloquently describe than I could. but it is energy. And so it's how do you get that energy and what do you do with that energy? What do you do with those emotions? And so it's either you somehow de-escalate your energy, and you have that for me with my team, it's conversation and them knowing that I lean on them heavily. And then solo, I'm a big yogi, so I do a lot of meditation and movement. Or it's as simple as a car ride home with the music blasted and my own piece, right? Like my car karaoke, whatever it may be. But you find what your places are, and I think knowing that they are, again, your toolbox, you lean on them, and not being afraid to lean on it when you need it.
You hear this all the time, the glass half full. It's so easy to look at it as empty, but I think, you know, like we said, just finding the positives in the small things and just being able to, you know, say, okay, I might have had a bad day, but you find the one or two good things that happen during the day. I think that's important. So I always like the glass half full analogy.
Yeah.
Amazing. I would say one failure in soccer, it's when you go the whole year to the championship final and you lost it, then your break, you know, you go back to the locker room, like all this hard work for nothing. But if you remember everything that it takes you to get there, and all these moments lift you up, you know, like getting together with the team, getting more close to, you know, the person that you are like going into a game or the person that you're driving with, all of these details make you go to the final. So for me, it's not looking as a failure, it's looking at how much you grow during this journey, right? And those memories are gonna last forever.
I love what both of you said there.
After every time that I've spent with my family on our drive home, on our flight home, whatever it may be, at dinner, you know, you bless the food and then you say, what was the one thing you were grateful for on this trip? Or what's the one thing that you were, you know, the good thing? And for my kids, it's usually some toy or something, and I'm praying that will change at some point if I'm doing it right. But I think what resonates with me is that, again, it's really, we all love what we do, and we all really want to be great at what we do. You want to be great at, you know, playing basketball. You want to be great at soccer. But at the end of the day, we really just want to be good humans, right? You want to have great relationships. You want to be liked by the people and loved by the people around you, and you want to, you know, be the same to them. And so if I approach most situations and most of what I do in that manner, thinking the person across from me has that and needs to get home to that, or somebody's struggling at work and there's a disciplinary thing, and I have to remember that as well. And so it's just sort of, you know, remembering that on the other side of everyone, there is this human as well, and looking at them as a whole.
It's not the destination, it's not just what happens at the end, it's that journey, and every step matters. You know, expressing gratitude for every little thing, being there in those moments. And then, you know, I like the way, Freddie, you described, like, you know, you put in all this hard work, you get to the end of the season and things might not turn out, and then you turn back and say, was this all for nothing? No, it wasn't. Yeah. Every moment mattered. Every step counted, and it meant something, and it was professionally and personally fulfilling. So thank you. We have focused our efforts around the youth mental health crisis. So after the pandemic, I mentioned earlier the one in three Americans experiencing diagnosis of depression and mental illness, which is really unprecedented, way more. But for the youth, the United States Surgeon General issued something called an advisory for the youth mental health crisis. Now, the advisory is not something that's issued lightly. This is reserved for major public health crises that require the nation to pay attention to it. And he issued an advisory on the youth mental health crisis. Among the leading causes of death for our children, 15 to 29, is suicide. That's by opioid overdose has increased dramatically. We have to pay attention to this. And the stigma is so prevalent that what all of you did today, came out here, you're role models for many of the young children. You know, you normalize the conversation. You really change so much. I hope that there's, you know, even if this conversation leads to one individual listening and saying, I'm going to get help for myself when I need it, that's worth all our time together. So thank you so much. a part of our efforts with the community and the partnerships include bringing mental health access. We have partnered with Renton School District, and we've been working with the Renton School District to improve access to mental health services. But this is not just about mental health services. It's more than that. It's trying to normalize the conversation around mental health, trying to really bring in, and we were grateful to the Sounders team that actually had our kickoff event in Renton High School. And that was so powerful, you know, going there and talking to the kids can now normalize things. It means a lot. And building safe spaces for the children to play. There are a lot of examples, and there are, you know, a lot of areas where we're looking at this partnership to really advance that, and create curriculum, wellness programs, so that children have the knowledge. We democratize knowledge and support, that children are able to support each other. The teachers are able to support them, the right knowledge and tools for parents to have a conversation that they can connect with. And all this is a part, and it is going to take all of us, all hands on deck. So thank you. Now, one request that we have of all the listeners today is for you to join us in taking a mental health pledge. We want you to prioritize your own mental health and well-being. We want you to start kicking the stigma and having a conversation, a real conversation with a loved one, a friend around mental health and mental well-being. There's a QR code that you could scan over here, and please go ahead and take this mental health pledge and join us in building this movement for mental health and well-being. Before we wrap up, I would love to just go around one more time and ask you in 1 or 2 words to describe what keeps you well. So this time, I'll start with you, Freddie.
I believe that the motivation that I want to give the best to my family, you know, my wife, my kids. And that's something that I need to be good, right? I always think on the example on the airplane, when they say something is wrong, the mask come out. So first help yourself and then help others. So if you're not well yourself, it won't be easy for you to help others. So that's my focus, and I always pray every day that I am healthy so I can help my family to succeed.
It is about energies. It is about, you know, being the best person that you can be. And just, like, I just love seeing people happy. So, you know, when they're talking about things that they're passionate about, and you can just see in their face that, you know, it's lighting up. So I think just if you're able to be that someone that makes that person happy, I think that's really important. And so, yeah, just, you know, making sure you're good, and then just being a good person to everyone around you.
I'd say family and grace. Family, because they 100% support me. My husband is a very good beacon and a reminder of when I need to stop and when I need to, and I have to listen, learning to listen. And then grace to yourself first, and then to others.
You have shared such wisdom, and this really matters. Thank you all so much.
Thanks for
Goodbye.
having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.